Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you yet again by Brush. Brush, not brush, is an electric toothbrush that will change the way you think about brushing your teeth. With powerful sonic technology and ultra-gentle bristles, Brush redefines what it means to have super clean teeth. It's like that feeling when you leave the dentist. A fresh, whole mouth clean every single fucking day. Our listeners, those would be the listeners of America's Hometown Horror Podcast, get 15% off their total purchase when they go to Bruce's website and enter code POD15. That's POD15. Follow the link in the show notes and enter the code POD15. Again, that's POD15 to get your exclusive discount and upgrade your oral care routine. Guys, I know that we have all upgraded our oral care routines and done Brush electronic toothbrushes lately. What do we think? Good stuff?
The mighty Brush.
The mighty Brush, indeed. Catherine?
Yes, squeaky clean.
Oh,
Squeaky
so good.
clean.
So good. My teeth are as white as the day is long. That's all I have to say about that. And away we go! What is up, folks? What's going on? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike. If you've been listening to our show for a little while now, you know that I am the host of America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and as always, I'm not doing this alone. I am joined by my fellow esteemed co-hosts, Andrew and Kat. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
What's up, what's up, what's up?
What's up? I mean, I appreciate you guys actually saying like some sort of like generic greeting, like in response to like what's
well,
up.
You asked
So like what's actually going on?
What's
What's actually up? What's going on?
Nothing. I mean, it's every week. I mean,
Yeah, but it's a different week.
Happens.
You know, you worked, right?
I did.
You wore your cheetah print shirt.
Yes.
How did you like that with your sunglasses and your hair? Did you feel cool?
Yeah, I feel wicked cool today. I got my fierce outfit on, and these are my new sunglasses that are now stuck to my hair because I shouldn't have done this.
Oh, they're definitely stuck to your
butt.
hair now. Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna.
Oh my
You're
goodness.
gonna rip your hair out.
I am. I'm gonna rip it out.
Well, this is definitely getting left
This
in.
is gonna take a little
I'm
bit.
wearing the same thing I always wear, which is my lovely
The Shine Through Blue.
Blue.
Former sponsor of the podcast, Shine Through Window Cleaning. Shout out to them.
I got
They
them
rock.
off.
Atta girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Take
So,
that. Take
I
those
got
off.
she
and-
said.
Yeah.
But I got some fresh knockarounds. What do you think?
Oh, those are nice.
My
They're
sunglasses.
Very nice, right?
I can
Very,
see the
very
reflection in
reflective.
them,
Yeah.
You feel like a cop with those on, don't you?
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
When she says knock around, she means sunglasses, which are a great product that we all love.
And they go back in the hair to get lost again.
You know what?
Hopefully,
I
knock around should advertise with us because I wear multiple pairs of their sunglasses along with their blue light blockers, and Kat also has multiple pairs of sunglasses, so they should advertise.
I think I've owned one pair of sunglasses before. I never wear sunglasses, and I probably
insane.
should. That's
Especially
probably why I'm so blind.
Working outside, I can't even understand how you would do anything without sunglasses.
Well,
It's hard to see like when you're cleaning windows, for instance, or washing a house.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell if it's clean when you have sunglasses on. I also, when people wear them when they play golf, I have trouble following the golf ball with sunglasses on.
So I'm the same way. So I actually wear them when I'm not swinging the club.
Mm-hmm.
I wear them 95% of the other times. That's what or 99.
It's like a whole nother world when you have sunglasses on.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Weird.
It's dark, and
yeah,
my life's dark enough. I don't need sunglasses to.
All right, cool. So good to hear you guys are doing good. This is good sunglasses talk. But
Wicked.
hey, so what else is up? What have you guys been watching over the last couple of weeks? Andrew, you got anything you want to talk about? Anything cool?
What?
If
have
not,
I
no big
watched?
deal. It's
I'm
fine.
trying to think if I've watched anything since last week. I mean, I'm sure I've watched something. Anything of relevance?
So last week you were watching the Stepfather
Stepfather,
movies.
Oh, right.
I still haven't.
By the way, I think our Mortal Kombat episode came out really great. We've got a good response to it. We've had a lot of people that have listened to it.
Plug our own episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice plug.
Hashtag self-promotion. Listen to our Mortal Kombat episode if you haven't done so yet. And also, if you haven't seen Mortal Kombat yet, what the fuck are you waiting for? Go watch it. Andrew, sorry, continue.
I still haven't watched any more of Sasquatch. I've been kind of in a rut.
Oh,
as
you
far as
fucker.
watching things.
Dude, it's so
Did you
good.
finish it?
Oh, I finished it. Oh,
I
yeah.
would
I finished it like the day after we recorded. I finished it.
I know. I'm so
good.
bad at finishing.
I will say it's definitely one of those documentaries. So I would compare it almost in a sense to like the Elisa Lam Cecil Hotel documentary that came out on Netflix a couple months ago, where it so like the Cecil Hotel documentary kind of established itself as something paranormal is going on here. But at the end of it, they're like, no, not this time.
So it's the same thing.
As Jonathan
That's what I
would say.
assumed.
And this one is also very similar. Like, yeah, okay, there's a Sasquatch element to it, but it's actually not Sasquatch.
I haven't finished it. I still think it's Sasquatch.
Spoiler alert.
Just kidding.
So I love Sasquatch stuff, and I love that the way they tied it in. But when you get to the end of it, you'll actually see like pretty much what happened. Like they talk to people that confirm it essentially, and it's essentially not Sasquatch. Spoiler alert. So sorry.
Thanks for ruining it.
Wow.
Well, sorry.
Great.
You didn't watch it yet. So
It's still interesting. Mm-hmm. I assumed it wasn't Sasquatch. I kind of hoped it was.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be cool.
I feel
When
like
is it ever Sasquatch?
I feel like if there was a confirmed...
When isn't it Sasquatch?
I feel like if there was a confirmed murder of 3 people by a Sasquatch, that would be major headline news.
I don't know if it was a documentary. I think it was a movie, but it was based on true events. It was like a Yeti story where they found... I think they were in Russia. Or
The Dyatlov Pass incident. Yes. That's
is
probably the
found
creepiest.
Bodies all the way up
like
the
in
mountain.
the trees and shit.
Like that?
Yeah, like big time stuff. Crazy shit.
We should
Crazy
talk about
shit.
that sometime.
I would love to talk about that. It's been covered on a million podcasts, but I'd love to talk about it because it's a really interesting and cool event that happened where nobody knows what the fuck actually happened. I mean, and I know you know nothing about it, but the story is
I know
insane.
nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, that's fine. You know nothing, Jon Snow. So, hey, can I talk about some stuff that's come out over the last couple of weeks?
I think you're gonna, no matter if
I don't think I've watched anything like of note. Kat and I watched Mrs. Doubtfire the other night after drinking one of the
snaps.
lovely THC seltzers from Elevated Roots in Kingston. My
that's why
God,
you guys are laughing so
they
much.
work
I mean, that
well.
movie's funny anyway.
Holy shit! I was laughing my fucking.
I
balls
think I
off.
know every line to that movie. To be honest,
As do I. And
I mean,
honestly, we just decided to watch it Saturday night. We were just hanging out, like let's watch something familiar and laugh. And
It's nice to watch something funny.
So
yeah, just a nice, feel good.
What a funny guy we lost in Robin Williams. It's just
I don't even
sad.
want to talk about it.
I know. Kat is obsessed with Robin Williams.
I cried the day that he died. I was so sad. He's an amazing actor. He was an amazing actor.
Yeah, he was great.
Have you ever cried when someone died that you didn't know?
No, I can't say that I cried.
Never
cried.
The only celebrity death that really impacted me a lot, I didn't cry, but was Anthony Bourdain. When Anthony Bourdain allegedly killed himself, that was a big deal for me because he's been such a huge influence on my life.
Do you say that with quotes because it's a conspiracy theory?
It is a very big conspiracy theory that he didn't actually kill himself.
I didn't hear that.
His girlfriend at the time that he died was Asia Argento, who was the daughter of Dario Argento, who directed some of the Italian giallo horror movies back in the day. And Bourdain was one of the first people to be very outspoken against Harvey Weinstein and that like legion of sexual abusers, that type of shit. So people think that he actually didn't kill himself, that he actually might have, been murdered. But in the same sense, it's probably bullshit because he long talked about how much of a struggle he had with his own mental health. He's a former addict.
I remember. Yeah.
Like he did drugs for a long time. So I wouldn't, it's probably what happened as was reported. If I had to say,
it sounds like he had been through a lot in his life.
Yeah, of course, and obviously for me, like we met him.
Yes,
he was super nice to us. Yeah, and Zamir from Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations, not his new show on CNN, but he was super nice to us. He was very down to earth, and I feel like the way he just has traveled the world and kind of experienced things is an inspiration for me. So that sucked, but. With that being said, we're not here to talk about...
I know, dead celebrities.
Dead celebrities. So, I don't know if either of you guys saw this. I know I did. Two new teaser trailers dropped for Stranger Things 4.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Did you guys see either of these?
I did not.
So they were kind of like cheap teaser trailers, right? They didn't show essentially any new footage of anything. It was essentially all stuff with Eleven back at Hawkins National Laboratory, back when she was a baby, like trying to get her psychic abilities, and it pretty much confirmed that we're going to see some stuff in the new season with Dr. Martin Brenner, who is played by Matthew Modine, who was killed in season 1. And it shows him in these trailers. So it obviously, it seems like this season of Stranger Things 4, is going to lean into heavily stuff about Eleven's past, which
Does
people
that
have
surprise you?
people have speculated that 11 might be the villain of this season.
Huh.
So,
Can I just say, I'm
What do you-
sick
what do
of-
you- what do you guys
I'm
think
sick
about
of
that?
that girl?
11?
Yeah,
Really?
just no, the actress who plays her. I'm like, she's in everything. It's enough's enough. Like, I knew they were going to do this with the new Stranger Things. They were going to make it all about her because she's the big.
She's
famous-
the biggest, aside from David Harbour, who plays Chief Hopper, and obviously, what's her name, who plays Joyce, Winona Ryder. She's the biggest actress in this show. Those
Right.
three. Those
I mean, in this, in this,
All the
point-
rest of the kids
at
are just
this-
along for the
At
ride.
this point in time, she's bigger than those two.
probably.
Winona Ryder.
David Harbour actually is pretty big. He got nominated for a Golden Globe, I think, for him portraying Chief Hopper in Stranger Things.
But
So
when
he
I-
might be a little bit bigger, but Millie Bobby Brown is like on the up and up,
But
like
I feel
big
like
time.
Winona Ryder is the more well-known actress.
Yeah, for old people.
Of course, for older people.
Well, yeah.
I'm saying at this point in time, Millie Bobby Brown is probably.
Billy Bobby Brown.
Billy Bobby Brown is probably.
Millie-
I bet you if you put a picture of Millie Bobby Brown next to Winona Ryder, 98% of people would know who Millie Bobby Brown is, and 2% would know who
Wait,
Winona
who's
Ryder.
Millie Bobby Brown again?
11.
Oh.
More people would know who she is
I'm like,
than
I don't know
Winona
her
Ryder.
name. If you said 11, I'd be like, oh. But
So
Winona Ryder's been in so much stuff,
I know,
like
I'm
Beetlejuice.
saying,
I
though,
mean, since
more
she was
relevant,
a kid.
yeah, but she's
Right,
not,
yeah.
that's not relevant
Yeah.
anymore. That's old. That's old news.
Ugh.
It's old news. You got to get with the times. You're living in the past, man.
You're living in the
I guess
past,
I
man.
am.
You're living with some clown with the 60s, from the 60s, man. From the 60s. Bozo the Clown, B-O-Z-O.
Would it be an episode if we didn't have
What
a
is that from?
Seinfeld
Seinfeld.
reference, yes,
Just-
of course.
Just know when me and Mike start going off on tangents, it's usually a Seinfeld reference.
All right, so yeah, there's two new Stranger Things 4. I love how they actually call it, they don't call it Season 4, they call it Stranger Things 4.
They're doing
which is what
like,
they've done
they're
forever.
doing like a movie.
So yeah,
Like,
so
but it's
essentially,
just-
I
it's a
think
TV
this pretty much
series.
confirmed that we're going to see a new Stranger Things season this year, which, if it comes out, we'll cover it, which is great, because I love Stranger Things. But
Oh, it's a great show.
Fantastic.
for in the more immediate future, just a couple of things. Just we've talked about this, but some people may not know. Some exciting horror-related stuff that's coming out in the month of May, in the year of our Lord 2021. So, as of this recording, what's today? Today's the 11th, right? The 11th
Correct.
of May. Spiral from the Book of Saw comes out this Friday, May 14th.
Oh my god!
which
that's
we will be
so
seeing.
exciting.
On Friday?
I don't know about Friday, but we will see it between now and the next time we record, and it will be our next episode, Spiral from the Book of Saw. Book it right now.
Can I just say, when was the last time we went to a movie on a Friday night?
Wait, are we going to like the movies?
The movies. It is not available
Movies
anywhere else but
at
the
your
movie
Regal
theater.
Okay.
Cinemas.
Then let's go to the movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Get
So,
some popcorn,
Sure.
some bunch of crunch, put it in the same bag.
One thing that's
Oh,
also being released the same day, which I love, and I don't know if either of you guys have ever seen. Andrew, I know I've talked to you about it because it's something that you would love. But on Netflix this Friday, also May 14th, is the second season of Love, Death, and Robots, which is the adult cartoon
that was
series
okay.
that is directed by David Fincher and Greg Miller, who used to do a bunch of... Tim Miller. Tim Miller,
There's
excuse
something
me.
I watched the last
dude,
week.
it's awesome.
7
Oh,
again. I watched
God,
7.
how many times could I watch 7 and not get sick of it? The answer is a million times.
Okay, so when you say David Fincher, it makes me think of the guy from Elf. I forget the author, but
Oh, Peter Dinklage's character?
yes,
Yeah.
but I forget. I think it's. Sorry.
This irrelevant
No worries.
moment of the podcast is brought to you by
Brought to you by Kevin Wall.
No, but I forget. I'm gonna look it up. But no,
This
it's,
irrelevant moment of the podcast is brought to you by...
Gatto.
It's okay. No big deal. But yeah, Spiral from the Book of Saw coming out this Friday, May 14th. Also, the second season of Love, Death, and
It
Robots.
better be close.
Also, May 14th. And then also, Catherine, you can comment on this when you're done looking up whatever you're done looking up. But A Quiet Place Part 2 also coming out on May 28th. So a couple weeks after Saw, we get the sequel to A Quiet Place, which we haven't covered A Quiet Place Part 1 yet. Maybe we will, but I feel like that's a movie
I
that
would
we're
love to see
definitely
Quiet
going to
Place
go see
1.
as A Quiet Place Part 2.
So-
We're definitely going to see that.
the Elf reference was Miles Finch.
Miles Finch, that's the one.
So not even close, but
It was
Well, Fincher.
Fincher.
Sure, okay, yep. And he was Tyrion Lannister, for Christ's sake.
He was amazing as Tyrion Lannister.
the best,
I loved his
probably the
character
best
for that.
character on the entire show.
I have a T-shirt that says
Are we
I
gonna
drink
talk
and I
about-
know
Oh, also,
things.
actually, so
Sorry.
this was another thing
I know,
too.
you hate
Well,
Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm sorry, Andrew, that you're stupid and you don't like Game of Thrones. But did you see,
I am
Catherine,
stupid, but
that there were
that's not-
3 or 4 new images released from the new Game of Thrones prequel called
No.
House of the Dragon,
No, I didn't.
which is about the Targaryen family about 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
There are
I
4
can't wait.
honestly, it's just people dressed like Targaryens.
Okay.
But still, I was like, yes. Let's fucking do it.
I
I'm
want
on
more.
the fuck board.
Give me
Absolutely.
more.
Let's fucking do it. Okay.
Andrew,
Cool.
get on the bandwagon.
Brainwashed.
Yeah,
Get
Andrew, you
on
should.
the bandwagon.
I can't believe you actually started Game of Thrones and didn't finish it.
That's
You are
so
an insane
Because
stupid.
it started boring me.
No, you're terrible. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god, you didn't like this boring show.
Oh god damn it.
You're
All right. Well,
ridiculous.
can I give you one piece of news? Something that
Sure,
is,
go
I was
ahead.
hoping you had something. Jeez.
Go.
I have one. So
ahead.
honestly, there hasn't been much news the last couple of weeks,
That's
so it's
great.
been a little tough. So I know Kat's excited
yeah.
about that, but one
Pass.
thing, it might honestly be the biggest piece of news that we talked about in the history of the podcast, and it's something that is so phenomenal, and it very well could be the coolest, the coolest mashup of 2 properties that I have ever heard of in my entire 34 years on this earth, and that would be a mashup of the Haunted Mansion at Disney World and Disneyland and the Muppets.
Wait, what?
We are talking
What
about
going on?
What?
this fall, streaming exclusively on Disney Plus. There is going to be a
Muppets
first
Haunted Mansion.
ever Muppets Halloween special that's called Muppets Haunted Mansion. Let me give you a little description of
That
this.
sounds so fun.
does. I was
so
confused.
Yes, it
excited.
does. The official description that was released last week. The Muppets' first ever Halloween special, called Muppets Haunted Mansion, will feature the Muppets cast, celebrity cameos, and new music and spooky amusement for families to enjoy later this fall. Muppets Haunted Mansion will take place on Halloween night when Gonzo is challenged to spend one night in the Haunted Mansion from the Disney park.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
So
excited.
cool, right?
Ah!
You know what I was just thinking would be
What?
awesome is if they made like a Muppets like horror movie, and the
Oh
villain,
my God.
and the villain was the Swedish chef, and he was just and he's just chopping people up with his
Perfect slasher.
Oh.
Perfect slasher.
Awesome.
It sounds like this might be actually the closest thing that we get to a Muppets horror movie. I think it's probably going to have some good horror movie
I'm
references.
glad that it's
'cause the Muppet
centered
stuff
around
is always
Gonzo
good.
because Gonzo's great.
Yeah, exactly.
The great
Gonzo
Gonzo.
the Great.
Gonzo
yeah.
the Great.
Gonzo the
yeah.
Great.
But I mean, this just shows you like how far the tendrils of the Disney Corporation stretch out across all of the properties that they do, right? Because I feel like it was only a matter of time before the Muppets interacted with like Marvel or
Absolutely,
Star Wars
yeah.
or
I mean,
something in the
who
Disney
knows?
parks.
Maybe this could be a whole new universe. The Muppet universe.
The Muppet
where it
universe.
just takes over.
I know.
And it's like,
And-
oh my god.
I'm watching Andrew like blow his brains out right now if that actually were to happen.
I'd be okay with the Muppets universe.
Muppets universe,
There's very
yeah.
few universes I'd be okay with. Muppets universe. There is a Muppets universe, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'd like to sit
It's just
where
not
like
called the Muppets universe.
Kermit sits on the rock where he sings the Rainbow song, the Rainbow Connection song.
Rainbow
I'd like to
Connection,
sit
yeah.
right next to him and just enjoy
Listen.
him.
Yeah.
Push
play
him in
that
the
song.
water.
No, I won't push him in the water. I'd
Maybe
just,
he has his phone in his
I'd
pocket.
like to sit next to him
Funny.
while he strums the Rainbow Connection
So,
song.
question for you. What is the best Muppet movie? And Andrew, I'll start with you.
Ooh. Muppet Treasure Island.
Catherine?
Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet Christmas Carol. Yeah. Muppet Treasure Island is phenomenal, but
I mean, I'll
Christmas
take-
Carol...
I liked the Muppet Show very much. That was on TV.
I'll take margaritas in the Midnight Buffet
Yeah.
all the time.
Okay.
And it's also got,
Kokomo.
no. Who's the main guy in the movie?
Oh, Tim Curry, of
Tim
course.
Curry. Anything with Tim Curry's. But Christmas Carol has Michael Caine. So Michael Caine's
Michael
pretty
Caine.
awesome, too.
Of course.
That was a terrible...
So safe to say
Yeah,
we're
that was a
all...
very terrible Michael.
Oh
Caine.
my god!
Safe to say we're all pretty excited for the Muppet Haunted Mansion.
Who's your favorite Muppet of all time?
Oh, God.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh.
Putting my feet to the fire here. Catherine, you can start.
I think I'm going to say Animal.
Okay.
It's
Andrew?
pretty good. It's got to be the Swedish Chef.
I am...
Or Beaker.
Same level for
he's
me.
on the same level.
Swedish Chef, Beaker, and Pepe the King Prawn, who I fucking love.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pepe
he's
the
pretty
King.
cool.
I also love Sam the Eagle's great, but also Uncle Deadly is phenomenal.
I like Rolf, too.
What's it?
Rolf's great.
Waldorf and...
Statler and
Oh,
Waldorf
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
also
They're
great.
awesome.
I mean,
They're great.
It's almost easier for me to pick a Muppet that I don't like, and this is going to be
Miss
controversial. Miss Piggy, obviously. Nobody likes Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy is a...
I actually think... Andrew, you're going to yell at me here.
Yeah, she's an abuser.
I think...
She's always abusing
She does, that's correct.
I think...
sexually harassing.
That's assault, brother.
I think Gonzo sucks.
Oh, I love Gonzo.
Oh.
Gonzo's great with the fucking chickens. It's like, is he fucking the chickens? I don't know what's going on.
He's definitely fucking the
He's
chicken.
fucking them chickens.
Easily.
I mean, Gonzo's got a beak, and so do chickens.
Fair.
Well, he doesn't have a beak, but I mean, he has like
a big nose.
Yeah.
which is a beak referred to.
I
as a
think
beak.
he's definitely fucking the chickens.
I mean, Fozzie.
I'm not a fan of Fozzie.
No.
Fozzie
Waka,
is
waka,
a-
waka.
Are you serious?
Fozzie is a
His
pain.
Oh my god, Fozzie's
He's
the
got
best.
the ultimate dad jokes.
No.
Oh,
he's
Fonzie's
very
so
ass.
much better than Gonzo.
It's not
Oh my
Fonzie,
god.
it's Fozzie.
Fozzie's so much better than Gonzo. Sorry, Fonzie. I was thinking of fucking Happy Day.
Fucking Honeydew.
We were watching the video for Buddy
Melonhead,
Holly by
whatever his
Weezer the
name
other
is.
day. Sorry.
Bunsen Honeydew. I don't like him.
Oh, I mean,
Bunsen?
That
Bunsen?
fucking nerd.
he's just along for the ride
Yeah.
with
Beaker.
with Beaker. Beaker is clearly the better character there. I was actually Beaker one Halloween.
I know. I was with you.
That would be
Yeah,
a
you
great
were with me
That would
for
be
that
great
one.
if we
Yeah.
all were dressed up as a Muppet.
Oh my god, that would be so great.
I would be Gonzo because I got the beak. So
I mean,
And then you're looking at me and you're like, you'd be Miss Piggy because you have blonde.
now you.
And I'd be like, I don't
No, I'm
want to be Miss
I'm
Piggy.
thinking Otis could be Animal,
Oh, absolutely. We can throw a mop on his head and he can be animal.
or I could be Sam Eagle, or because
Sam
got
Eagle.
the beak too,
The bee.
or I could just be Beaker.
You could.
Beak.
Oh, wait, can I be that girl drummer?
you'd also be a good.
The one that's
The
like,
one that's, yes,
hey,
can I be her? I'd like to
Oh
be
god,
her.
that is such a. Honestly,
Can I
that's
be
a perfect
her?
character
Who's
for
the
her.
other guy? He's definitely a member of like Crosby, Stills, Nash.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, he's
You know, with the
so
green
cool.
hair, and like, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so good. Like, he's in the
Yeah.
band with all the
And
Muppets.
who's the
Yeah,
guy
I
that
know
plays
exactly what you're talking about.
Who's the guy that
Yeah.
plays the saxophone? That guy's.
Oh,
He's
he's
great
cool,
too. I
too,
forget his
that
name.
whole band is great.
Yeah, that band's awesome.
It's like my favorite band.
I also love not Fozzie Bear, but the other bigger bear. That's kind of just
Oh,
like,
he's so
okay,
fun.
okay.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, the gigantic guy that's clearly a man in a full bodysuit. That fuck, what's his name?
That I
just
don't
got
know
the
what you're
hair.
talking about.
He runs around. He's like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
he's blue?
Oh,
yeah.
he's like a child. It's like a name. It's like a
He's like a monster, but he's like not a monster.
But his name's
but
like
he's-
Sal or something.
Yes,
Something
yes,
weird.
something like that.
Otis, no.
Another county heard from here, which actually, so this is a good point to bring this up. So if you are a follower of our show, I should say, you know that Otis will bark from time to time. Sometimes I edit it out. Sometimes I don't. If I can't, if we're in the middle of a good conversation. Otis actually created his own Instagram account, and it's at
gosh,
the Spooky
stop.
Hound Dog. That would be the Spooky Hound DAWG. And he's totally doing this under his own volition. So if you follow him on Instagram, I'm sure he would really appreciate it since he just chimed in. He was pissed that I didn't mention it in the news. So yeah, that's what I got, guys.
There you go.
Muppet Talk. Good Muppet Talk.
What is it's? That's gonna drive me insane. Now I want to know.
The big guy, he's blue, right? Isn't he blue? And he kind of romps around, but he's like Shaggy.
Yeah,
The guy that talks like this!
He's not blue.
Yeah.
Remember the one from
I
like the
thought he
Muppet
was
Show that
blue.
was on ABC a few years ago that we used to DVR and watch all the time?
He's like a woolly mammoth without a trunk, kind of.
I don't think we're thinking of the same person.
He's
Okay.
not. He's definitely not blue though. But
He's
that's
not blue?
Fucking Fungalocopus. I don't care what his.
Fungalocopus. Oh, what's Snuffleupagus?
Snuffleupagus.
Is pretty cool, too.
Dude, best Muppet show with Muppets was definitely Fraggly Rock.
Oh, Fraggle
Fraggle
Rock
Rock.
was the
Dude,
was the
Sprocket.
shit.
Sprocket. Sweetums.
Sweetums. That's him. That's exactly who I was
Yeah.
thinking of. Yes, him.
Oh, I thought. Wait, isn't there another guy that's blue? He
You know what's
looks like
funny
him
though,
too,
is what's the name of the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes character that's the big pink.
Oh, I know the monster. The
Yeah.
monster. He's
got a similar name.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. And it's funny because Looney Tunes is available on every Looney Tunes is
Yeah.
available on HBO Max. So
I
we've been
noticed
watching
that.
some of them, and I looked for the episodes that he was in because those were the horror themed episodes of Looney Tunes that I used to watch when I was a kid that I used to love, and I forget what his fucking name is.
Gossamer.
It's Gossamer. That's it. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Love it. Muppet
Cool.
Talk.
Yeah,
I
Muppet Talk,
know,
Looney
sorry.
Tunes Talk. It's all right.
Totally off horror topic.
No worries.
I don't think that's off topic
fine.
at all. I think horror people love.
I think
Muppets.
sometimes people that
Muppets,
listen to the show
puppets.
like when we go off topic.
No, just Muppets.
Marionettes.
Muppets.
No marionettes.
Guys ready to talk the myth?
Creepy.
Yes.
Cool. All right, folks, that means we are on to our movie of the night, which is one that I'm very excited to talk about, and one that, at the beginning, I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but at the beginning of this year, we were setting goals for this show and talking about certain things and topics we wanted to cover. We each came up with a list of 10 movies that we wanted to cover this year. Andrew and I had an overlap of about 6 of those same movies, so it kind of gives you an idea of what our tastes are, right? And this movie tonight actually was on both of our lists. Kat had some different ideas of movies, which is great because it's what is different about us that makes us great because we can talk about lots of different things. But yeah, this movie is The Mist, one that Andrew and I have been clamoring to talk about pretty much since this podcast launched, I would say, Andrew, right?
We've been talking about this movie for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's just a great... See, I have some qualms about it, but we'll discuss those later when we get to a certain...
See, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I know we usually talk nitpicks. I don't have any nitpicks with this movie, and I'm interested to hear what yours are. I'm interested to hear what yours is.
I have
also.
one.
I couldn't think of anything.
It just came to me now, and I don't even know if it's really a nitpick, but it's just an observation.
Wait, don't talk about it yet.
I'm not. That is a tease. I'm teasing. A teasing.
Woohoo!
Fair enough. So we're talking another Stephen King movie here.
We don't talk many of those though.
No, we haven't.
This is only like a couple. It's only like our 6.
Outsider, The Shining, Misery, and what else? We've probably done a few more.
We didn't do
that.
Castle Rock. We talked about Castle Rock.
We've talked about. Let's say, okay, we might not have dedicated a lot of episodes to Stephen King stuff. We talk about him quite frequently. We did it because it was one of the movies in the double feature at Barrett's Haunted Mansion.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
And we did give our thoughts on it, and you've talked about it many times.
I know.
We all are aware.
And this is not an invitation for you to talk about it.
We all know, and we all know.
We all know.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess I'll start here, and then I'll go around the horn to each of you guys, because I know, Andrew, you love this movie as much as I do, and Kat, you saw it for the first time last night.
We're going to go around the horn.
Around the horn.
Where's Tony Reale?
Yeah, I know. Tony Reale and Michael Wilbon and
Woody
Tony
Page.
Tony Kornheiser, Woody Page, any of those guys. But, I mean, this is one of those movies where... I hate to even say this out loud, but I'm the cool guy who read the book, I should say, the short story, before the movie was even in development. So I was familiar with this story kind of from the get-go, from the jump.
Sorry, time out. It's a short story. How short is the story?
It's about 150 pages.
Oh, I can read that.
You could absolutely read that. That would be with it. You can read it in 20 minutes, honestly, if you read quickly.
That's aggressive, but I could.
20 minutes? Mike, this isn't a podcast on 1.5 speed. You're actually reading it at that rate?
Which is how I actually listen to my podcast. Andrew is making fun of me.
Is it how you read books, too?
I'm a...
Audio? Are you audio, or do you read them?
I do audiobooks sometimes, but I like to actually have it in my hands.
What do you find more difficult? Audio? I feel like I wouldn't remember anything if it was... I feel like I would have to need to read it.
No. In my hand is more difficult, for sure. Because audio, you can just put in your headphones and listen.
Oh, I understand that, but what do you retain better?
Audio, I think.
Huh.
Because I listen to so many... I've always in my life...
You know what, that probably makes sense, because I read shit all the time, and I don't know what I'm fucking reading.
I do the same.
I don't read any books, I'm saying, but I'll read, instructions or directions on what not to do, and then I go, I forgot about that, and then I...
Well, I listen to a ton of podcasts, and I've listened to a ton of audiobooks, and I feel like I retain the information on podcasts better because I'm actually listening to it versus actually
I remember.
reading it myself.
I think you're right, because if I hear something on the radio, I'll remember it. If I read a snippet out of a news article, I might remember it.
Yeah. I don't remember anything.
I know.
I don't remember. I have a feeling I know why that is. It's probably all the
No, I don't remember anything. I have reading comprehension issues and stuff.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
I don't remember anything, and I feel like even when I listen, I'm a visual person. I need to see something.
That's okay.
What's funny though? Is you
Okay.
say reading comprehension. I just think you have a comprehension problem.
Well, that's also true.
Because we watch a lot of movies and you don't remember watching those, and we have a lot of conversations and you don't remember having those either. So I don't think it's reading comprehension.
Well, speaking of comprehension,
right?
I actually comprehend reading this story probably back when I was in high school and maybe early college. But
We're all very impressed that you went to college.
Yeah, I know.
Michael.
Well, I read 150 pages. God bless me. So I think this is one of the rare cases, though, where the movie actually does a great job of being faithful to the source material, but also improving it. And there's one big improvement.
The end.
Which you know what I'm talking about, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to it.
And I haven't even read the book. But I still comprehend it.
Yeah, it is my personal favorite Stephen King short story. If I had to pick one, it would absolutely be The Mist. I think there are lots of aspects that make not only just the short story, but this movie great. From the monsters to the plot to the characters. And also, I think it can't be understated how well the actors playing these characters are selling these roles, which are pretty much disposable roles, but they're all doing a great job making them work.
And that's the thing, too. They're all disposable actors as well.
Well, they're all B-list, right? So you have Thomas Jane, who I actually love in most stuff. Marcia Gay Harden, who I think has won an Academy Award.
I think she has.
I think she has as well.
She's in Mystic River. Did she win it for that?
She is in Mystic River. She did not even get nominated for that.
She was awesome in that. She is probably one of the...
Tim Robbins and Sean Penn both got nominated for...
she's a great
Mystic
actress,
River.
but she's plays such an annoying person in everything. And
yeah.
I want to strangle
That's how
her.
you know she's good.
Yeah,
because
I
she's
know.
perfect at being annoying.
But like Marcia Gay Harden, Andre Brower, who plays the neighbor, the lawyer. He's an awesome villain.
He was in...
He's been in a bunch of... Actually, been in other...
Storm of the Century.
Storm of the Century.
Yep.
He was in Storm of the Century. And he's also... He played a
Is
police...
he from Maine, or does he just...
No, he's just been in a bunch of Stephen King stuff.
Maine?
Yeah. And actually, a lot of... all this stuff is connected because Frank Darabont, who directed this movie, has directed a lot of Stephen King stuff.
Do you mean to tell me that this takes place in a universe?
A shared universe?
In Derry, Maine,
shared universe?
which most of them do.
It's never been confirmed, but
I didn't realize
it might
how many
be a
universes there
possibility.
were, but there's probably an infinite amount of universes.
Yeah.
There's probably one in which I'm actually interesting and funny.
Well, it's one that you're
People
actually
like
in right
hearing
now
me.
is the one you're in.
So yeah, not only Thomas Jane, Marcia Gay Harden, Andre Brower, but also Toby Jones, who's phenomenal. He played Ollie Weeks in this movie, who was the manager of the grocery store. He's fantastic. Jeffrey DeMunn, who played Dale in The Walking Dead.
I know. He was younger,
awesome actor.
too.
Awesome B-list actor.
younger,
William Sadler.
too.
He's older in that. But
he's
because
older in The
Walking
Walking
Dead
Dead
came out after
I know,
The
that's what
Mist. Yeah.
That's why I was laughing.
Never mind. Okay. Pass.
William Sadler, who has also been in Frank Darabont's movies, including Green Mile and this movie. He's great in this. Laurie Holden and Chris Owen. My man, the Shermanator.
I was just going to say, I was like,
And
is that the Shermanator?
now is the time when I'm going to tell the Shermanator story. You cool with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Go
Andrew,
ahead. You're
I
a
think
better
I
storyteller
think
than
I've
I
told
am.
you this before. So obviously in The Mist, Chris Owen, who is more affectionately known as the Shermanator in the American Pie movies, big character in those movies. Kat and I and a couple of other couples happened to be up in Portland, Maine, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day of 2018, something like that, 2017. It was a few years ago.
It was a few years ago.
And we went on what was called the Maine Brew Bus, and it was basically a brewery tour where you go around, you drink beer, and you fucking have a great time. So,
I was looking something up relevant.
on the beginning of the brew bus, the tour guide who was at the front of the bus was like, at the back of the bus we have somebody who's an actor. Can I tell everyone who you are? And he was like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, this is Chris. He's from Michigan and he's an actor. And me and my buddy, who were both very hungover, we looked over our shoulders like, who the fuck is this guy? Turns out it was the fucking Shermanator from American Pie.
Yes!
On
So we
this
drank-
brew bus
we
with
drank
us.
with
We
the
drank with the
Shermanator
Shermanator all day.
Do you think he uses that and gets laid?
Probably.
Well,
Well, he's
he
married
has to
now.
go.
He's
Oh,
married. I think his
he's
wife's
married,
family
yeah.
is from Maine, which is why he was up there. But he was super down to earth, super cool.
He was so
and,
nice. I was so
finally,
happy to meet him.
the third brewery we stopped at, which was 3 of 3, I was like, okay, I have enough beer balls now to actually walk up and talk to him. And I walked up and talked to him, and I said, hey, you're in one of my favorite movies. He said, you love American Pie? And I said, no, I love The Mist. And he was like, oh my God.
I know!
That's great! You know, and I'm just like, I love The Mist. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I'm so happy you're in it.
He was probably just glad someone
Wicked cool
recognized
dude.
him
Yeah,
from something
super cool.
other than American Pie.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Chris Owens, Shermanator, if you're listening to this, yeah, we're a fan, dude. And if you remember that Brew Bus tour, we were on it. So,
and let's do it again. That'd be really fun. That was
hell
an
yeah.
awesome
You know what
time.
should have been the theme song for this movie?
what's that?
Into the Mystic by Van Morrison instead of The Mist. That's a
Stephen King loves classic rock, so I'm actually surprised it
That's
wasn't
a great
in there.
song.
Yeah. But yeah,
saying.
so that's my Shermanator story, and I'm sticking to it.
I know. He was such a great guy.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Really fun to hang out with
Talk
him.
about a random thing that was like pretty cool and like pretty cool to remember. But
Just unexpected. I mean, it was cool.
so
Of all
guys,
the random people you could meet,
I know.
that's probably very random.
I know. Yeah.
seriously, one of the most random, I think.
Did you get his autograph?
No, I didn't ask him to sign anything. I just talked to
You know
him.
what he did instead?
Banged Stifler's mom.
No, you blew him.
No, I didn't blow him. I didn't blow. No, not at all. Nice work.
I couldn't resist.
So anyway, hey, so this is the third 2007 horror movie that we've done.
Really?
Could you guys guess the other two?
So bad.
I don't want a big dissertation here.
I got one.
Okay. What is it?
Hills Have Eyes 2. The Descent.
We never covered The Hills Have Eyes 2, and The
Or just-
Descent's different year.
Silent Hill.
Hills Have Eyes.
Did we do Silent
The
Hill?
original is
No,
it's
we did not
the-
do Silent
So
Hill.
it's not The Hills Have Eyes.
Do you guys remember like anything we did
No!
on the podcast?
I do, but I don't remember years. I don't even know when I was born.
don't
What do you
know
fucking
either.
want from me?
I know, it's
I'm
so
just
hard.
trying my hardest.
There are two movies that you love and we've done within the last
2007.
3 or 4 months.
Phantasm.
No,
It was not in 2007. At least I know that much. Time out.
one has a number in the title.
7.
No, we have not done 7 yet.
This is why I don't like Trivial Pursuit. It's like spread out.
Okay, first one is 30 Days of Night,
Yeah.
and the other one is Trick or Treat. We've done both those movies.
I would have
Both
never
those
guessed
movies.
either
Trick or
one of
Treat
those.
definitely doesn't have a number.
That was a very hard question.
So we've covered the 2007 horror movies multiple
Trick or Treat
times.
came out in 2007?
Yeah.
I thought that was like 2015.
No, 2007.
When did it actually get released?
2007.
When did it actually
I
get
feel like
released?
that- I feel like-
You're telling me lies.
It was released.
How old am I? Why are these movies so old?
So, just so you know, another couple of horror movies that came out in 2007 was the sequel to 28 Days Later, another movie that we covered.
I was thinking of
28
Krampus.
Weeks Later. 1408, which is another Stephen King
Yep.
adaptation with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. Dead Silence, which was the directorial debut, I believe, of James Wan. Grindhouse. Grindhouse Tarantino movie. Halloween, the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween,
that
which is
one.
decent. Hostel Part 2, Part 2.
Garbage.
I Am Legend with Will Smith, which is a terrible fucking movie. Paranormal Activity, which is in fact a great movie.
original?
That I love, the original one. Awesome movie.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
The Poughkeepsie Tapes, Saw 4, and Trick or Treat, which we already mentioned. So
was thinking of
some
Krampus. That came
decent horror movies this year, and I think the 3 best, in my opinion, which would be The Mist, 30 Days of Night, and Trick or Treat. We've now covered all 3. So I don't know.
The Mist would be top
You tell
of the
me.
list.
What do you think? Anything else that I
No.
listed that would be anything in the conversation for best horror movie of the year that we haven't talked about already?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, fair enough.
I agree.
You guys ready for a few factoids about The Mist?
Sure.
Andrew, you probably know some of these, but
Where
these
was it filmed?
Might be in a little. So it actually was filmed in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Interesting.
So
I
it
was
must-
wondering that because I was trying to guess. I mean, it
It was not filmed in New England. Yeah.
In a grocery store. And besides
It was
that,
probably
there's-
cheap to film there.
So
That's my guess.
Shreveport, Louisiana is one of those towns where a lot of movies are filmed because there's such tax credits to be able to film it there.
Okay.
Can I make
so,
a
like, big
guess?
thing. Yes.
This movie's budget couldn't have been more than $2 million.
I actually don't know what the budget is, so if you want to look it up.
Curious, because it
Well,
does.
I'm
It
stating
seems like
some stuff.
it seems like a low budget movie in my book. But
yeah,
maybe I'm wrong.
I think it had a decent budget between
I
the
feel
cast,
like they built their cast the way that the Red Sox build their lineup.
Yeah.
They spread it out.
cheap, good actors. Yeah.
But like B-list, like solid role players.
But what about like some of the monster and bug kind of
It's all CGI.
animatronic kind of thing.
And actually, I didn't feel like for 2007 the CGI in this movie was pretty bad.
I thought it was good.
Pretty good. For I haven't watched it in a few years, and I was actually impressed. I was kind of surprised at how good it actually was. Like some of it looked stupid, but most of it I feel like
I was way off. Budget was $18 million.
$18 million.
That's
okay,
a lot of
that
millions.
seems like it's for a movie of this size. I feel like it makes sense.
And that's part of my gripe. So now that makes my gripe even more.
Okay, well you tell me. So. But obviously, The Mist is based on a short story by Stephen King, aptly titled The Mist. And he was inspired to write this story during a trip to his local supermarket during a thunderstorm, a bad thunderstorm, during which he imagined prehistoric animals and giant insects besieging the grocery store.
I'm just curious how many mushrooms he was on when he perceived that.
Probably.
I'm at the grocery store. There's a thunderstorm, and there's these giant.
This story came out in the '80s, which was kind of at the peak of Stephen King and his drug addiction when he was directing movies, that kind of stuff. He was on all kinds of drugs. Hey, that's a look inside of Stephen King's demented psyche, right? I feel like you read the inspiration of how he thought of most of these stories, and it was just everyday things that you go through, which is kind of crazy because he just has the ability to kind of turn these things into fucked up shit, which is kind of cool. Not kind of cool.
I kind of
really
do that.
Cool.
I feel like I kind of do that.
You also kind of do that, but it's more anxiety. You're not Stephen King.
Next time you write a book, let me know.
Maybe I will.
So
maybe I should, to be honest.
So once The Mist came out, it actually went on to go inspire a few well-known, believe it or not movies, not TV shows, video games, including Half-Life and Silent Hill.
Oh, because it was Half-Life was well up before the movie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But that was...
And Silent Hill, too. The Silent Hill movie, I think, was before this, too. Yeah. But the video games...
Silent Hill was well before.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Half-Life was a computer game. That was 99 or 2000.
Yeah, so there's never been a Half-Life movie, but obviously the Half-Life video game, and I think the first Silent Hill video game, and I think the Silent Hill movie both came out before this Mist adaptation.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, Half-Life is about basically a scientist at a crazy, scientific facility where there's a rift in dimensional space, and aliens come out of it and start killing people. So you can see it.
I'm not making fun of you.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was funny when he said there was a scientist at a scientific facility.
Yeah.
He was at a scientific facility. The scientist.
And
I was but I would have said the same thing. I just couldn't. When I hear, it's like.
Well, I kind of meant it as a joke, but
okay. Well, then that's even.
Enough.
I like it.
Did you though?
I dig it.
Or you is that just a cover?
I think
is
so.
that a cover?
You covering? Okay. Everyone can laugh at me. That's fine. That's fine.
Scientists in the science community.
But anyway,
at facilities for science.
Back to The Mist. So The Mist was directed by Frank Darabont. You guys ever heard of that name before?
No. Sounds like a vagabond to me.
Vagabond. So he's actually a pretty famous director. He's done several adaptations of Stephen King's work, including The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and he directed famously the very first season and the first couple of episodes of season 2 of The Walking Dead.
Oh,
first off,
cool.
Guy did some bangers.
Mm-hmm.
Shawshank and The Green Mile.
Bangers.
I love The Green Mile.
You want to talk about the best dramatic, drama Stephen King other than Stand By Me?
Yeah.
It's those two and Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Probably.
I actually read The Green Mile. That was the biggest book I think I've ever read.
Hold on.
Ever.
You read something?
That's actually a Stephen King book that I've never read.
That's got to be a long-ass book.
It was 525 pages, I think.
Jesus Christ.
I think I remember it because it was the longest
book. That's actually really short for a Stephen King book. It's 525 pages.
It was a hardcover. I remember. I think I remember.
Which the movie's 2.5 hours long.
So you do have comprehension.
Yeah. I have a library card on my keychain.
Confession. The Green Mile movie probably has... I've seen tons of horror movies. Probably the most disturbing scene...
Absolutely.
...for me ever of any movie. The electrocution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
with the guy with the dry sponge. My God.
It's a very underrated...
That is horrific.
You know what's a very underrated... That's very...
oh my God, it's so gross.
In a movie that's not a horror movie, but is the scene in Unbreakable when the guy that works at the stadium...
Oh, yeah.
Has that family tied up and he's killing the family. How he enters the house when he knocks on the door. That's a fucked up scene.
That's a fucked up scene, too. But I just feel like that electrocution scene in The Green Mile, I feel like is R-rated and very graphic and disgusting.
I just think it's funny how these scenes end up in movies and you don't even think about them. But like every movie, most movies have some element of horror, which is what we always try to preach.
Yeah.
Don't be so close-minded.
Absolutely.
Open the box. Let yourself in.
Yes.
Slide
elements
on
of horror.
into that
I like that.
box.
Hashtag elements of horror.
Great.
Horror is a different thing to every person.
You know what we could make is like an element table of horror.
All right.
Periodic table of horror.
HO.
Let's not go down this road.
HO2 Halloween.
No.
Right. We were talking about facts for the movie, right?
Keep going. We'll talk about the periodic table later.
So Frank Darabont actually initially wanted to direct The Mist as his feature film debut, but he ended up going with Shawshank Redemption. I think that's probably a good decision, right?
I think
in
he
retrospect.
did pretty well.
So after he filmed Shawshank, he again tried to get The Mist made, but ended up settling for another Stephen King adaptation, The Green Mile. Also a good decision, I'd say.
Yes, that movie is amazing, and the book was awesome.
Yeah, both very good. Great stories. And he finally got the project off the ground in 2006 when the movie was finally greenlit. And Thomas Jane, what an awesome actor, was brought on to star as David Drayton, who's the main character in The Mist, right?
Thomas Jane. Starred in Hung. You ever see that show?
Oh, no, I know of it. I've never watched it, though.
He was good in that. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, I know he's been in a bunch of shit.
He was the Punisher, the first movie Punisher.
That's actually not a bad movie.
Great movie. I think it's a great movie.
Good.
It's a very good movie.
That's before like
Travolta's terrible.
That's before like Marvel comics and that were like universes.
It's
like when it was just some movie.
Dude, the way he kills people in that movie is so.
He's
awesome.
brutal.
So good, so good. But yeah, he's been in a bunch of shit though.
I just don't like it because he's got a man's name and a woman's name. Like, what's your name?
2 first names. Big time winner. Big time
Talk
winner.
about a transition.
But actually, so fun fact though. So after this movie obviously came before The Walking Dead, before Frank Darabont directed the first and beginning of the second season of Walking Dead. He actually wanted Thomas Jane, the main character in this movie, to play Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead.
Really?
So I ask you, Catherine, as a fellow watcher of The Walking Dead like me, could you picture anybody else besides, what's his name? Fucking,
Lincoln?
No. Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln playing Rick Grimes. I feel like this guy that was in this movie would be a good Rick Grimes. Maybe a better one.
Yes and no. I mean, I kind of like Rick. Rick has this weird, like, curly hair with the beard thing. Like, he just has a very.
I don't like curly hair. Yeah, I'm
look to him.
Yeah,
I feel like the
hair.
guy who is the main character in The Mist is a very generic looking hero figure. He looks
your basic white.
Your handsome white guy.
Yes,
yeah.
With, he doesn't
weird
have
hair.
Your hero.
But he doesn't have any sort of, like, distinguishable features. Like, Rick Grimes has, like,
I think his voice is a distinguishable feature.
The voice, and, like, there's a lot of different things that, like, I think set Rick Grimes apart from this
Thomas Jane has a better voice than Andrew Lincoln.
Sure.
Do they sing?
He did the Punisher voice, not only for the movie, but also for a video game based on that Punisher movie. He is iconic as the Punisher, in my opinion, and fight me about it. Fuck you if you don't like it.
I don't think that the Punisher voice would have fit Andrew Lincoln, though.
But you mean to tell me that there was a character on that show named Dick Grimes?
Rick.
Dick.
He didn't go by Dick, but yeah.
But he could have. It's like Dick Liquors.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
The establishment.
Yes.
Richard's Liquors.
He was absolutely...
Which is an amazing liquor store, by the way, that we stop at often.
Dick Liquors. It's not called Richard Liquors. It's Dick Liquors.
And it's
that's
Dick,
where we
it's
go.
probably Dick Grimes. He grimes that dick.
Oh my gosh.
Dick Grinds. Like, that's his porn name. Dick Grinds.
Okay.
Let's go back to The Mist. So, Frank Darabont, again, the director of this movie, he initially wanted to shoot the entire movie and release it in black and white. But it ended up being released in color. Okay? And you can actually watch. There is a black and white version of this movie that is available on the second disc. Available on the second disc of the 2-disc DVD release that came out a few years ago. Right? All right, so when writing the movie, Frank Darabont, again the director and writer of the movie, drew inspiration from the classic Twilight Zone episode, one of the best, The monsters are due on Maple Street. Andrew, are you familiar with this episode?
I am. It's where the monsters are actually the people because
Correct.
they turn on each other based off of their own fears.
Absolutely.
This is, to me, is something that Kat would do to other people.
Oh,
I feel like your fears... No, because you're afraid of everything.
Correct, yes.
So you would, in this situation, you would be like the Marcia Gay Harden character. I feel like you would be the one sending out sacrificial lambs to the monster.
Wow.
That's
interesting.
just
Okay.
because she has so much fear. It's all based on fear.
Okay.
This movie, to me, you must find terrifying.
I'm sure she probably does. We'll get to the scary
The Quiet
stuff
Place
shortly.
I mean,
I don't mean to rag. I feel like I'm ragging on you. I think like I'm just being like.
I don't like. What do you mean? I'm
No,
so
but I didn't mean it like that. Like I meant like I feel like if we were ever put in this situation.
Here's what I'll say. So like Monsters Are Due on Maple Street is obviously a classic Twilight Zone episode that is a critique of it's a neighborhood that's going through a quote unquote alien invasion. It's a critique of the Red Scare, Cold War America, and McCarthyism, right? So. Like, that type of story is what Frank Darabont drew inspiration from when he was writing this story about the Mist. And I'll get to this later, but I feel like the scariest part of this movie is not intended to be the monsters. It's intended to be the way people act when they are afraid and confused, right? But a couple of Stephen King Easter eggs before we jump into categories here real quick. But obviously, one of the biggest Stephen King Easter eggs in the opening shot of the film, right? David, Thomas Jane's character, is painting in his room. The picture that he's drawing is a design from Stephen King's Dark Tower series, depicting Roland, and essentially the first, the cover of the first Dark Tower.
The Gunslinger.
Yeah, The Gunslinger. That book.
I read that book.
Yeah,
we were all gloating about how we've read books. I've read that book.
Ooh,
just
look
saying.
at you.
Yeah.
And they've yet to make a good adaptation of that story.
Are they doing
Amazon Prime
doing a show? Like really?
So apparently Amazon Prime is doing not only a Lord of the Rings story, but also a Stephen King Dark Tower story.
Can we talk about how excited I am for both of those?
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
I know, right?
Better than any Game of Thrones remake bullshit.
Well, let's not go there.
So also, when you pan over David Drayton's little art studio there, Thomas Jane's studio, there's another design in the room that is also the poster of John Carpenter's The Thing, which I know, Kat, pointed out to you.
Yeah.
John Carpenter obviously also wrote and directed The Fog, which shares obvious themes with The Mist, as well as Christine, which is an adaptation of a Stephen King novel.
Almost as good as that movie, The Dense Moisture.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah. So
The Mist, The Fog, and The
Dense Moisture. Yeah. And the final fact that I have for you guys, which obviously this is fresh in your mind, but obviously, like I said, one of the scariest parts of this movie and this story is Mrs. Carmody. And the line that she says in this movie and also the story, quote unquote, "My life for you," that is a recurring line in other Stephen King texts, spoken by lots of other characters that are villains, including Randall Flagg, which is from the
Gunslinger.
Yep. No, Randall Flagg's from The Gunslinger and also from The Stand. So yeah.
Is he from both? Mm-hmm. Are you sure? Or did I fuck up?
He has lots of aliases, including Walter O'Dim, Martin Broadcloak, etc., etc., but basically, Randall Flagg is the constant evil across all of Stephen King's stories, including this one. So he's mentioned, or at least referenced, in this movie. So, pretty cool.
Cool.
If you're a fan of Stephen King, a lot of stuff in here for you to, for you to talk about. So, before we jump into our categories, just a reminder that tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you by Bruche. Bruche, as a reminder, is an electric toothbrush that will change the way that you think about brushing your teeth with powerful sonic technology and ultra-gentle bristles. Bruche redefines what it means to have super clean teeth. It's like that feeling you get every time you leave the dentist. A fresh, whole mouth clean every other day. Our show, that's America's Hometown Horror, our listeners get 15% off their total purchase with code POD15, that's POD15. Follow the link in the show notes and enter the code POD15. Again, that's POD15 to get your exclusive discount and upgrade your oral care routine. All right, so we are on to our categories, folks, and obviously the first one of all time is, and again, I had to explain this to two people that have been on the podcast for over a year.
No,
wow,
time out. First off, time out. I didn't ask this question. You did.
I did.
Not me. I don't want to be lumped in as just some idiot.
Oh, wow. So I'm an idiot?
Yeah, we all know what the things are. We don't.
All right, well, the first question is this movie scary? And Catherine, I'll start with you.
Can I make a guess? Mm-hmm. She probably found this movie terrifying.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay. It's a good movie to actually find scary.
It's scary. Yes, of course it's scary. There's bugs. There's weird aliens. There's octopuses outside of garage doors.
Actually, since you mentioned bugs, care to talk about how we first came to the idea for this movie?
Of course. So we were talking about what we should talk about for this week's podcast, and I said, the cicadas are coming out of the ground for the first time in 17 years.
Has it been that long?
Yes,
apparently.
It has.
I didn't realize this either.
Yes, I read about
I remember them during the drought of 44, but that's like the last time.
So... Andrew. So
2004, not 44.
They started poking their little heads out right now. I just saw there was a thing on the news, and there's a thing I've read a few different articles.
They're just poking them heads out,
and they have to go up and there's a little bit of a routine that they have to go through before they can sprout wings and everything. But they're coming in the next upcoming weeks. They're going to be
locusts.
here, and honestly, they will be because around dusk they come out, and it's rain, but it's bugs on your car.
I don't know if
terrifying.
It's ever that bad. I feel like that's a little more
we'll
aggressive.
See. We'll report
when it starts
back.
raining bugs on my car,
so
I think I'm moving.
I
don't think that's a thing.
So today's May 11th. Let's say June 11th. We'll report back.
So to confirm, though,
in a month,
they're actually they're already out, right? They're already out going, supposedly.
They've now are spawning out from the ground that they've been buried in for 17 years.
Okay.
They're just starting to poke their heads out. Then they have to kind of go through a little bit of a cycle.
Like
a butterfly.
Is Jeepers Creepers based off of cicadas?
Sounds like it.
Because is it every 17 years with him?
It's a lot of time between, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was 17 years, to be honest with you. But
so they have to go through a little bit of a metamorphosis stage, and then they sprout their wings and they fly around.
I guess, Kat, while Andrew's looking all this up, do you find this movie to be scary? What did you think of it watching it for the first time last night?
Yes, scary in several different ways. I mean, obviously because of the monsters, insects, kind of that whole. It's heebie-jeebie stuff, the whole unknown of what's in the mist, and that the people are against people. That's the scary aspect, too.
Yeah,
when you're
that's the scariest part of the movie, for
You're
sure.
stuck in the middle of a grocery store, locked in with a bunch of people that you kind of know a little bit, but also, not really a fan of. And,
yeah.
So that's kind of more scary in itself. So
it's every 23rd spring. So it's 23 years.
Andrew, what about you?
Scary?
Scary or no?
Unsettling? Yes. Scary? Meh. Not really. It's just more just fucked up. I find this movie very fucked up. I don't want to get into these parts yet, but there's two parts in this movie that are just fucked. One, the ending. Two, my favorite death scene.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think I can talk about that yet.
So I think now is probably a good time as any before I talk about why I think it is a little bit scary. Let's actually let me say real quick. So
yeah,
I think the scenario is scary, right?
Correct.
So you're trapped in a place where you don't know what's going on. There's something weird going on around you. You're surrounded by weird religious freaks. Don't get me wrong. I love me some monsters. Some of them are kind of scary. The spiders, the mosquito bugs, and the flying bigger bugs, whatever the fuck they are. But I think it's clear to me and clear to most people that watch this movie that the scariest aspect of this movie is Mrs. Carmody.
Yes.
And the crazed religious mob mentality that she creates, right? I think it certainly could happen and has probably already happened in certain situations where people have not understood what's going on in their life, in real life circumstances. And I just think that's clearly what Stephen King and Frank Darabont are trying to say is the scariest part, because no matter how many monsters we see, the scariest part about ourselves is humanity, right?
Right.
As it would be.
Yeah.
In that situation, that's exactly how humanity would act.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, All right, talk to me about your favorite scene, you guys. Andrew, I'll start with you.
My favorite scene and my favorite death are both the same. It's
Okay.
when Mrs. Carmody incites that mob, and the guy stabs the guy that was in the army. He was in the army? Like,
Yeah.
he's back. Yeah.
Yep.
Stabs him in the stomach. And then they, like, throw him out the window.
Officer Jessup. Yeah,
to
they throw him
feed
outside. Yeah.
What I found... This is a little
They
bit...
stab him like 3 times and then throw him outside.
They stab him 3
Yeah.
times, throw him out the window, and then he walks towards the beast. How he's even walking at that point after
Right.
being stabbed with a giant French knife, or chef's knife, whatever it was, and he's still alive. That scene that's the best scene because it just shows how fucked up. It's where it gets like that cult mentality to it, which is what I like in movies.
Yeah.
Like they finally just were like, yeah, she's right. We'll do whatever it takes to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
So you stab somebody who did nothing, and you throw them out a window. That's a fucked up part of him. That's where this movie gets like real fucked.
Sure does. What about you?
So my favorite scene actually was the garage scene with Chris Owen.
The Shermanator.
Yes.
Yep.
So, because that's like the first time, because that main guy, I forget his name.
Thomas Jane.
He like went out and like saw the thing, like the garage, like kind of vibrating and making noise and stuff, and like no one believed him, and then it took him like to die pretty much, and like he was all that was the first death you really saw in the movie.
Yeah.
That you actually saw
Him getting pulled away
happen.
by the tentacles. Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
exactly. So
Sure.
that was probably my favorite scene because that kind of set you up for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I was a huge fan of the spider scene in the pharmacy, especially with the soldier falling off the wall and all the spiders bursting out of his back, which was disgusting. Wicked gross. But I feel like now is as good of a time as any to talk about that ending, though. You want to talk about that ending?
We're gonna talk about the ending.
Right
That
now?
ending?
Yeah.
No, not yet. We have the other categories.
Hey, we're an hour into this,
I mean, if
and
we're
we are
gonna talk
talking.
about the ending,
Yeah.
the ending is
all right,
what
go
makes
ahead.
this movie. It's probably one of the best endings of any movie I've ever seen.
So I think one of the things that you and I have connected about this movie, Andrew, is the ending, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So it's so dark, it's so twisted, it's so fucked up, and it happens, and then all of a sudden you have your heart shredded the immediate second after.
You want to talk about a heart-wrenching ending, Kat? Or heart-wrenching movie?
I'm so upset we're not going to talk about all the other categories.
The ending of this
before we
movie
talk
is
about the
heart-wrenching.
ending.
It's up there
We're
with...
going to talk about the other categories.
It's up there
but
with... So this is a horror movie where the ending is up there with the boy in the striped pajamas. When the fucking little Jewish boy and the little boy that's a Nazi are hanging out and they fucking end up in the gas chamber together, and it's so sad. The ending in this movie is up there with that, and it shouldn't even be on the same level. Yet it is. That makes this... That's what takes the nitpicks that I have for this movie. Mm-hmm. The one
away.
nitpick. And removes it. Because
fair enough.
the ending of this movie is so good. It's better than... I don't know. I can't think of an ending of a movie.
can I ask you
Saw.
a question? In
No,
all reality,
Seven.
when
Better.
did you want to talk about the ending of this movie?
Towards the end of the podcast, 'cause that's the one thing that I want to wait to talk about.
All right,
is the
so
end of the
Andrew
movie.
said his piece. We can let it go for a little bit.
Yeah, because I'd like to talk about my scenario at the end.
All
of
right,
the
so
movie
let's talk
and
about the
the
cast.
podcast.
Let's talk about the cast in this movie. Cast replacements, cast alternatives, cast/info. I have some stuff here, but did anybody have a beef with anybody in the cast?
Yes.
I actually thought this was one of the strong points of the movie was the cast. Kat, you go ahead.
I liked the cast for the most part. I didn't like, which I guess, obviously it means
You're going to say the
she's a
same
good
thing I'm going to
actress,
say.
What's her face?
Yeah. Laurie Holden.
Yes, but also Andrea from The Walking Dead.
That's Laurie Holden, yes.
Wait, that's not who you just said. Is that who you just said?
Laurie Holden.
No. But the other woman who's the annoying person.
Marcia Gay Harden.
Marcia Gay Harden.
Yeah, she's really good at being bad, but she's still, like, so annoying. I wish I could just replace her with someone that would be, like, a little bit less annoying, but I guess she's doing her job if that's what she's
I have a little bit more to say about her at the end of the show, I think.
But Andrea from The Walking Dead, I would honestly replace with anyone because I think she's just so annoying.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just because I've watched The Walking Dead, that she just is such an annoying character on that show that I can't get beyond it. But
I know it's not her fault as an actress.
No,
but
it's not.
She's
so
easily,
annoying.
like, this entire movie, I was wishing that she would die, watching it a second time.
Absolutely.
Like, knowing that she didn't die.
Right.
Arguably, at the end. But she's just such a terrible character in The Walking Dead. Like, it drove me crazy.
So I'd replace her with anyone, really.
Yeah.
Like, anyone.
Yeah. Yep. Andrew,
Man,
what
woman,
about you?
whatever. Like, doesn't matter.
I think, in thinking about it, my favorite part of this movie is the cast.
Yeah.
For one main reason. Not because they were better than any other actors. It was a great B-list character, like actress picking, because in doing so, they didn't take away from the general idea of the story. The story was literally what made this movie what it was. The story and the dialogue and they did a good job of not picking. Basically, what I'm trying to say, because I'm rambling, is every actor or actress in this movie was irrelevant. It would have felt wrong if
Brad Pitt was in this movie,
it doesn't matter who was in this movie. You didn't want anybody good. They shouldn't spend any money on the actors and the actresses, because then you're going to get caught up in who's playing who, when in reality, none of their roles were important. It was how it was portrayed. Generally, like you said, if Brad Pitt was in this movie, it probably wouldn't have been as good.
Really,
it would have just been a Brad Pitt movie. You don't need Brad Pitt. You need some irrelevant Thomas Jane to play this guy.
I would say,
I'm not saying he's irrelevant, but he's kind of irrelevant.
When I watched this movie, it made me think of, like, Storm of the Century or, like, any other sort of, like, Stephen King movies. Like, it was just very similar.
She mentioned Storm of the Century by name last night. We were watching
I was like,
yeah.
I feel like this is the same thing where everyone's stuck somewhere and, like, you're trying to figure out what's going on and everyone has their own shady business going on. Like, that's exactly the same thing.
Everyone's got their own demons.
Oh, it's a little... Yes, exactly. And it's different in that scenario than this scenario, but it's kind of similar in the same way that you're kind of being like, oh, and then you see, like, it said Castle Rock News on the newspaper and stuff, and it was in Derry, Maine. Like, I mean, it's all, like, relative to all the other Stephen King kind of movies that are out there. So it made a lot of sense to me. I was like, automatic Easter eggs, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like the first, like, half hour. Like, you saw a ton of different things. There's like references to more stuff. It was cool though. I liked it.
I agree that Laurie Holden, God bless her, it's not her fault, but she played Andrea in The Walking Dead, and she was terrible in that role. So, any nitpicks, you guys? Andrew, I'll start with you.
I have one nitpick, and it makes sense even more now that Kat mentioned it, is that it's a great movie. It's great acting, great ending, but it felt like a made-for-TV movie, which I don't understand how that's possible, and maybe that's what made it so good, and maybe that's why I actually like it more than I think I should.
Yeah.
Is because it is like Storm of the Century. It felt like when you rewatch this movie,
it felt like a low-budget Stephen King adaptation.
when you rewatch this movie, you go, was this on TBS? Like, the first time it ever came out? No, this was in theaters. And that surprises me because it doesn't feel like that type of movie, which makes it even more surprising that movie had so much... The movie's fucking awesome. That's the thing. So I don't even know if that's a nitpick.
Well, the monsters are great. I feel like the monsters have absolutely feel like a big budget movie thing. Separate of what you're saying.
I think it's the fact that it's all B-list actors.
Yeah.
But they're all great character actors. And they just never get that big role.
They all did very well.
They all did very well. They all were well, and
yeah.
they didn't take away from the movie.
Right. Yeah, I agree. No, I thought, yeah.
But I feel like that gives it a B-list vibe to me, like a made-for-TV movie.
Well, yeah, I agree.
But it isn't.
That's
and
fair.
So was Stephen King's It. It was
but I think that's what makes it.
TV,
I think that's what makes
series,
it better.
Right.
No, we're not talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not talking about
Just
that.
saying. One of my nitpicks.
Yeah, what were your nitpicks?
I have one. And, okay, when they see bugs outside, they shine a light up to the window.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
Which is the stupidest move ever. Because
but
if
that's
anyone
what those
knows
movies are supposed to do.
No, but if anyone knows that light attracts mosquitoes or bugs or whatever, I mean,
Which they realize.
Have you ever seen
Yeah.
Jurassic
no kidding.
Park?
No, I mean, have you ever been outside in the summertime? Like, obviously, there's bugs by lights. Like, I mean, anyone knows that. Like, that's...
Yeah, but the bugs wouldn't have
common
attacked the
sense.
windows if they didn't do that.
If they didn't have, like, lanterns
movie
in every
would have been
single little
boring.
bit of
Yeah.
the windows, then they wouldn't have gone to the windows, because there wouldn't have been light. Like, that was just so dumb, and I was like, that's like camping or, like, you know, outside porch hanging out 101 is don't have a ton of light out there because it's just going to be all bugs near you. I mean, that
fair.
was just so stupid.
That's fair.
Sorry.
That's fair. Nope.
That's
you're,
my nitpick.
You're okay.
I'm
You're okay.
sorry.
Nope, you're all right.
I
No
was-
need
I was a little
to apologize.
I was angered by that. If you didn't
Yeah, you're
pick that
very
up,
angry.
I was
Why are you
very
so
angry
angry?
because it's like a life skill. Like,
Speaking of being angered, all right, what is your best death in this movie? Andrew, I'll start with you.
It was the same with my best scene.
Okay.
Like when they stabbed that guy in the stomach 3 times and then fed him to the... It was so good. Other than the one where he shoots his kid at the end.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
that's
Catherine,
my.
you ready to talk about your best
I wouldn't
death?
say most. I wouldn't say best death, but most memorable death is
Easily.
the last scene in the car and thinking that he shoots his own kid, and then like minutes later, everything clears and it's all over.
Easily.
Like, that is by
the most.
far
All right.
the most
So
memorable
I
death
think
of the entire
I think we can all
movie.
say right that the most memorable scene of this movie is that part.
Yeah, the end.
Absolutely, because you don't
Right?
even see it coming, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god, he just did that," and "Oh my god," and now it's over. Mm-hmm. And he just
how would
shot
he even know
his
that?
entire family.
That just goes to show what fear does to you.
Right?
You get so afraid that you're so worried that you're going to let your family down and your family's going to die some miserable death that you
Absolutely.
shoot them in the head. This movie, again,
It's-
speaks to just fear.
It's terrifying.
But I would say best death for me. I mean, if you take the ending out of the equation, it's our boy Chris Owen, the Shermanator.
Mm-hmm.
Norm, the bag boy, who gets dragged away by the tentacles.
I
right?
agree. I mean, that was awesome. That was my best scene because it's the first real like death that you see on screen in the movie.
And you actually see like what
And
is
you see
happening.
what happens, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say that. But all right, let's talk haunted attractions. I think this would be a very difficult movie to adapt into a haunted attraction just
See-
because of the big monsters.
I thought so. What was? Oh, we saw The Thing at Halloween Horror Nights, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we didn't see The Mist. I thought for some reason I was like, did we see this? That's a haunted attraction. But
Do you know the one way you could make this into a haunted attraction?
How?
Is if you just had a big room with a fogger.
That's a grocery
Just
store?
a fogger. Just a fogger so you can't see anything and people are just throwing dill pickle slices at your
oh
face.
my god,
So you're just feeling pickles hitting your face and you're like, oh my god, there's tentacles hitting me! But it's not, it's just a dill pickle. Then maybe you catch one
you'd
in your
have
mouth and
to
you get to
sign
eat
a
it.
waiver to do that.
just-
I knew the answer
Honestly.
to this question already before I even asked it, so I shouldn't have. But all right, fair enough.
I mean, I
So
think I
guys-
just explained how it's a good haunted attraction.
I mean, we're in our last
yeah.
category here. So MVP of the movie, Catherine. I'll start with you.
I'm going to say the main guy. I forget his name.
Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane.
Jane. Jane?
For killing... yeah, we've already discussed how he has
I'm
a
sorry,
man name
never
and a
mind.
female name.
David Drayton is his name. Yes.
So I think, he's such a strong character. He's like the sensitive dad, but at the same time he also kills his son. I mean,
Yeah.
but in the same
Yeah,
time
he
he's
does.
trying to do the greater good. He struggles with himself. He battles himself the entire time. But you just solely focus on him.
But he does kill
Every
his son.
minute of the movie.
He does, which makes him less of a hero and more of a coward.
I wouldn't say MVP. Well, I'm not saying MVP as in the status of VIP, but I'm saying that he has
What?
he didn't
As in the status of VIP.
As in the
he's
status
not,
of VIP. Jesus Christ.
What are you even talking about?
He's not winning here. He's losing.
No, yeah, he's a loser. He's
Right.
a coward, and he's not the MVP.
I think
So,
he is.
How is he the MVP of the movie?
Okay,
Well,
as
just
an
explain
MVP,
how he isn't.
He is the strongest character.
Okay, sure. Yes, I would agree with that.
Until
No, the entire time.
he kills his son.
Well,
Which is a cowardly move. He could have just tried to protect
And
his son.
3 other people, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, he just killing everybody.
Yep,
well, and
killing everybody.
Anyway,
Maybe you should have just killed yourself.
But I think he also like shows his humility after. He's like showing all this like
Because he's crying.
Crying
just
and
super
about to
emotional.
die.
I mean, like yeah.
Your answer.
Yeah, no shit!
After he killed his family,
No, I mean,
he cries.
He's
What a
just
hero.
He's very animated in everything he does.
Okay.
He's like a
Like
big...
she said, he's not the MVP.
Wait,
He's the VIP.
Hold on.
The
Okay.
VIP.
Let's backtrack here. Let me rephrase this.
Who would get the
me
bottle
rephrase
service
this.
in Las Vegas once they're...
Thomas
He's an MVP
Jane.
because he's one extreme and then the other. He leaves his kid with some stranger, and then he guards his kid with
That's
anger.
a thing that he does, yep.
And then,
And then he kills his kid.
Stays inside and says to stay inside, and then he goes outside and he says, "I'm going to save the world." And then he, like he's doing polar opposite stuff around here. But I mean, in the same sense, he's like all about the greater good.
Yes.
So he's
I
my
suppose
MVP.
that's fair. Okay.
Let's just end it. Then just keep moving.
Well,
Andrew, what about you?
Words couldn't express anything right now. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Who's your MVP?
Your description of the MVP threw me so far off on anything relevant to this movie. So my MVP is going to be Thomas Jane because he killed his own child.
I have a different one. Yeah. Wow.
That's my reason.
you
Because
think
he was
killing
Why is
children.
that-
he was just so concerned about his child that he said, "You know what would be better is if I shot
Killed
you
him.
in the
If I
head.
shot him in the head.
Well,
Because you
yeah.
have no chance of living right now." So instead of
Instead of suffering
in
a
all
painful death.
fairness, though, he was going to kill himself.
No, he didn't know because there wasn't enough bullets. There was only 4 bullets,
that's
and they
right.
said
He
said
ran
I'll
out of
figure it out. So he was just
He
gonna
did say,
go
"I'll figure it out."
outside.
That's what
He
makes
did.
him a coward, though, because he
He was
would have
just-
just
he-
killed himself first.
He thought he was just going to go outside, and they were just going to kill him because he went outside and he just screamed, and he was like, "Ah!" And he thought someone was going to come for him, and then no one came. The mist cleared. The army came, and he's like, "Oh my god, I just killed everyone."
I
and
feel
didn't
he's a
kill
coward in that
myself."
sense.
I feel like he
Yeah.
really didn't give it enough time. You just got out of that place. You've been driving for an hour? And then you go, I gotta feed them.
Well, they
tonight."
ran out of gas. That was
They
the
ran
problem.
Yeah, they ran out of gas, and he goes, You're gonna want like 2 hot dogs tonight. We only got 1. So you know what's easier? Why don't I just kill
We
you?
shoot you in the head.
I'm gonna shoot you in the head, and then I'll figure it out. Oh, look, I'm alive, and I made it to the end, and now I'm gonna cry like a bitch. Thomas Jane is not the MVP. Thomas Jane is the
LVP?
loser.
Any final thoughts on The Mist, you guys, before we wrap this up?
If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. They got
So-
movies like this on TBS all the time.
This
No,
is the
movie's
time
phenomenal.
that I would like to talk about the ending because
We already
it's the end of the
talked about the
podcast.
ending.
No, I didn't talk about my part of the ending.
Go ahead.
I thought. So I watched it for the. I think it was the first time. I don't think I ever remember that movie. I think I would have remembered it if I.
You would have
if I had
remembered
seen
the
it.
ending,
and
yeah.
I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen it. So we watched it last night, and I was blown away by the ending. Blown away because
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming a mile away. Like I thought it so many other times. Like at one point, I was like, oh, the guy that he first initially meets in the parking lot that brings him into the supermarket. I was like, he's going to be, like, kidnapped or something. And it was his neighbor, like, his Mercedes fell in a tree or whatever. Like, the tree fell in a Mercedes. Like, he gave him a road, like, gave him a ride to town and was like, hey, yeah, can you watch my son for, like, they don't really give any background of, like, how close these people are. Like,
Right.
I mean, you don't really know who anyone is, so you're kind of like, so this guy's just going to trust his son with this guy whose, like, tree fell on his car, like, what is the background? I mean, for me, I was just like, I don't know if I would do that. But, I mean, in the same sense, maybe they know each other very well and they never really said any backstory. But
if I were a betting man, I bet that you wouldn't do that. Yes.
I just thought, like, from the beginning, I was like, oh, he's going to get, like, taken or something. Like, and then he's going to find, like, he's going to try and look for his son in the mist. Like, I thought that was going to be the whole premise of the whole thing. But then that didn't happen, and then everything else happened, and I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But at the very end, he's this whole dad figure the entire time, and then he fucking shoots his son.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh
Holy
my
shit.
God.
Yeah.
He just shot his son. And then he's hoping that he can step outside of the car and that someone will grab him, and it doesn't happen. It's, like, it's insane. That's... The ending was, like... It's insane. I agree with Andrew. Like, it's one of the craziest endings that I've ever... The craziest twist to an ending I've ever seen.
And it wasn't even in the book.
I know.
Probably since Saw. Like, when I first saw Saw.
Saw. It's probably one of the biggest things that we haven't even talked about yet is that the ending of the Stephen King story is so much different than the ending of the Mist movie because Frank Darabont wanted it to be different. And the ending of the Stephen King story was very open-ended. It was pretty much just like them driving off into uncertainty, right? But here we are, and all of a sudden...
Who's going to watch a movie and at the end you get that?
Yeah.
Sorry. No, you want something concrete. And it was concrete.
I'm with you, my friend.
So that's my final thought.
Okay, fair
We
enough.
We agree, Cheetah.
Wicked.
All right, folks, well, I think that's going to do it for another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode. We certainly appreciate you guys listening. And if you want to follow us on social media, here's where you can find us on the following platforms, including YouTube and Facebook. Just go on, search for America's Hometown Horror. You'll find us. You can also find us on Twitter at Hometown Horror and Instagram at Hometown Horror Pod. And you can also shoot us an email at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find our show pretty much wherever you get your podcasts, but especially Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, and wherever else you may get your podcasts. My name is Mike, and as always, I have been joined by my esteemed co-hosts, Kat and Andrew. Say goodbye to your listeners, folks.
I am steaming up, baby.
Bye.
Adios, muchachos.
Woo! Bye. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.